Hello Pisces, my name's Keith Haswell and I'm your astrologer for the moment. I've been a professional astrologer now for over 40 years and I've got 30,000 clients worldwide, tens of thousands of students worldwide, and I'm releasing videos now for the last 15 months, 130 videos in the last 15 months, YouTube videos. And they've had a total of over 250,000 viewings now. Some of them have got 10,000 viewings. So very happy, Pisces, with the way that the word's getting out there about how beautiful everybody is and how much they put themselves down. And no one puts themselves down more than Pisces. What I'm going to do for you on this particular video is to tell you about your cycles, Pisces, for September and October 2014. But I'm going to do more than that for you. I'm going to also tell you about yourself, a personality analysis, and a look at your lifetime conditions and circumstances. That's always a lot of fun, Pisces. Now, then I'm going to lay out the movements of the faster moving bodies, the Sun, Mercury, Venus and Mars, on a week-by-week basis over that 2-month period, and tell you the type of events and conditions that you'll experience from those cycles. And then I'll look at Jupiter and Saturn, which are the slower moving bodies, and tell you what's going on as far as they're concerned as well in that 2-month period. But just first of all, a few things about yourself, Pisces. You, Pisces, are to be congratulated. Not for being a Pisces, but for being interested in astrology. That puts you at the forefront on the crest of the wave of evolution. Because you're interested in astrology, it means that you are there as a pioneer, as a map maker for others who will follow over the next 100 years or so. Pioneering into new areas of consciousness for the human family. And there's a new dispensation on the way, Pisces, and that is astrology, meditation and reincarnation. The religions of the world are all in their dying phases, and that's why there's so much chaos in the world, because they're trying desperately to cling to past glories and all going down the tube. So it's nice to have you here, and Pisces, you love everybody. You're a very loving person. But the big problem for you, Pisces, is that you don't love yourself. And this is one of the things that you've got to work on in life, because you are self-depreciating, you are feeling as if you're not good enough and that you don't deserve. You've got a very vivid imagination and a very retentive memory, but you do punish yourself a lot. You put yourself down too much, and you can have escapist habit patterns because the harsh realities of life for you, Pisces, are sometimes a little bit too difficult to cope with. And so you seek escape into a world of fantasy through drugs or alcohol, or escapism through overindulgence in sexual fantasies, or overindulgence in food that's not good for you. You do tend to deprive yourself of the power that you have inside of yourself. You're strongly attracted towards the mystical side of life and the inner side of life. And that's what you're trying to achieve. You're trying to achieve a rapport with the divine. And you will learn to love yourself through my videos and through this presentation. You will learn that you have a lot of power inside of yourself, Pisces. Now, you seem to have a lot of energy to put into financial pursuits. You're a go-getter when it comes to making money. You do have a lot of stress and tension, though, Pisces, and it's hard for you to hang on to that money. You spend it faster than you get it in. And there's a little bit of throat and neck trouble for you from time to time. You've got to practice relaxation a lot more, especially around the back of the neck, because you do get a lot of stress and tension around the back of the neck. Now, you don't engage in idle chatter, and the communications that you do make are very loving. You're stubborn sometimes and get fixed in an idea. You do have a strong attraction, Pisces, towards the beauties of nature. You love walking around among the trees and the flowers and the beauties of the landscapes and so forth. and the rivers and all of that sort of thing. So you do love beauty, and you like a nice car, and you have quite a lot of social activities involving relatives and neighbours, because they're people that are close to you, that you feel you can confide in and trust. There's many changes of residence in life for you, Pisces. You even have two places to live in at the one time. There's perhaps twins in your family somewhere, in the family tree. And you seem to have a lot of communication going on around the home. You love music in the home. But many changes of residence tend to make you feel insecure as far as the home environment is concerned. No sooner do you get settled down, then you feel as if you've got to move on again. Now, you can live with relatives, with a brother or a sister somewhere along the line, or other relatives. Now, you seem to enjoy social activities around the home more so than going out to restaurants and places of amusement. And you like home entertainments like games, consoles and things like that as well. You seem to have a fish tank around the home, or you have a view of water around the home, or you have views of the rivers and so forth and the oceans on the walls in the form of artworks. Now, you seem to have a lot of social activities with people that you work with. You can have a number of children, so you could have 2 or 3 children. You really love family social activities, those that you can trust, those that you're close to, and those who know you to a certain degree, because no one really gets to know a Pisces. You can work in the entertainment industry. You can work in restaurants and places of amusement. You have a leadership position perhaps in your job. And you do have a lot of social involvements with people that you work with as well. Now, you marry somebody who's lower in the station socially than yourself. You could marry someone who is of a different nationality or from a different country or something like that. You're attracted towards somebody who's not threatening to you in any way, Pisces. You're all the time trying to find balance and harmony inside of yourself, Pisces. Trying to make those changes inside of yourself that will give you a sense of harmony and peace inside of yourself. Well, that'll do, Pisces, as far as your personality analysis and a look at the lifetime conditions and circumstances that you face. You possibly have got a scar on the lower part of the face or the neck from a cut, burn or a scald at some time in your life. Now I'm going to tell you about the cycles that you're living through from the faster moving bodies, the Sun, Mercury, Venus and Mars in this 2-month period for you, Pisces. And I'm going to lay it out on a week-by-week basis on a timeline. So I'll tell you on the 1st of September where these 4 bodies are and what sort of conditions that'll bring about, what house that they're sitting in and so forth. And then I'll tell you when there's a change in one of those bodies, when they move into a different house and therefore start bringing about a different set of circumstances into your life. And so it'll go on like that on a timeline right through from the 1st of September to the end of October. So you just sit back and relax now, Pisces, and enjoy the journey with me, eh? Now on the 1st of September, Pisces, you've got the Sun and Mercury both in the 7th house of your horoscope. So there's a focus upon your partner, your relationship with your spouse or partner if you have one. And there's a lot of communication there with the general public in some way, perhaps connected with your job. There can be legal matters on your mind, but certainly there's a lot more communication with your spouse about their career objectives and so forth as well, and their dealings with relatives and things like that. Now you've got Venus in the 6th house of your horoscope, Pisces, to start the month off with. And with Venus in the 6th house of your horoscope, you have a lot of more social activities with people that you work with. It's a good time for job interviews if you want to make a change. It's a favourable cycle socially with people that you work with, and there's a lot more love there in the job. And everybody's affectionate with each other and so forth. There's a love of rich food during this time, and you can pack on the pounds, so just be careful because you'll have a love of food and gormandizing. Mars is in the 9th house of your horoscope, Pisces, to start the month off with. And with Mars in the 9th house of your horoscope, it's not a good time for travel. You can have arguments and conflicts with in-laws, tensions and conflicts with people over religious differences. So just try and keep things calm and cool in that regard. Don't be too dominant and assertive with regard to your opinions on the spiritual or religious side of life. There can be some pains in the hips and things like that. Now, the first change that we have, Pisces, is on the 3rd of September when Mercury moves into the 8th house of your horoscope. When Mercury is in the 8th house of your horoscope, there's a lot of deep introspection and reflection going on within yourself. I mean, you're an introspective type of person all the time, but this is particularly deep, and you're seeking to make those changes inside of yourself when Mercury is in the 8th house of your horoscope. So there's a lot of intensity there within yourself, trying to get rid of habit patterns that you feel as if you've become enamored with and that you want to get rid of. And there's a focus too potentially upon the sexual side of your life. It could be fantasies and things like that there. Now, on the 6th of September, Pisces, Venus moves into the 7th house of your horoscope, and that brings an attraction to social activities revolving around your partner. They could organise things with their family or something like that. And there's a great deal more love in your relationships as well. They'll be very affectionate in their nature towards you. There's a strong attraction to getting out among the public, to public parades and shopping malls and things like that. And when you go out to restaurants and that sort of thing too, you like to be there where you can see the public passing by and so forth. An affinity with the general public during that time. It's a good time for legal matters if you have to take anything on. Now, the next change we have is on the 14th of September, Pisces, and Mars moves into the 10th house of your horoscope. Now, that's not a good time for you for making a change in your career because it can be based on impulse. There can be accidents involving parents, illness involving parents, and stresses and tensions involving parents, with them perhaps being a little bit too assertive and dominant in their nature. There's conflicts potentially with government departments, so don't take them on. And on the 24th of September, the Sun moves into the 8th house of your horoscope. That commences a 30-day period of deep introspection and reflection, a focus upon joint finances that you share together with your partner or spouse. And there's a lot of deep thinking and reflection going on that with a strong urge to make changes and adjustments to habit patterns that you want to get rid of. On the 28th of September, Pisces, Mercury moves into the 9th house of your horoscope. That commences a period that sees you having a lot more communication with foreign people, a lot of communication with in-laws if they play a prominent part in your life. And there's also a lot more communication about spiritual matters. You could get tied up in some sort of adult education or something like that with Mercury in the 9th house. And there's a communications there with people overseas potentially too. A lot more communications with people about religious and spiritual matters. Now, the last one in the month is the 30th of September when Venus moves into the 8th house of your horoscope. That commences, for females, it increases your sex drive. It brings intrigue into relationships and so forth, so you can be tempted into a secret relationship. There's Venus in the 8th house is always good for joint finances, and it does bring a great deal of love for the deeper aspects of life, the mysteries of life and life after death and all sorts of stuff like that. Now, Mercury goes retrograde. Now, let me explain what retrograde means. Planets don't actually go into a backward motion, Pisces, but they do have an apparent backward motion when the Earth is moving faster around the Sun than that particular planet. And so it makes the other planet appear, as far as the background space is concerned, as if it's going in a backward motion. When that happens, it's called retrograde, and you have a retrograde Mercury. So from the 5th of October, Pisces, to the 26th of October, 3 weeks, your Mercury is retrograde. Now what that means is that you have a tendency to dwell in the past, Pisces. There's a lot of insecurities and secret worries for you to do with the house that it's sitting in, and that is the 8th house. So joint finances will bring insecurities for you, but it also impacts upon 2 other houses of your horoscope not related to the 8th house, and that is the 4th house, the home environment and the family side of things. Secret worries about family matters, things that you're waiting to come to conclusions, seem to be drawn out for a long time. Matters relating to the home and the family and parents seem to create difficulties, as if there's problems from the past being thrown up in front of you and that sort of thing. And also Mercury is impacting upon the 7th house of your partnership and your spouse. So he or she will be throwing stuff up from the past that you tried to get rid of and duck under the carpet and so forth. So that it's bringing stuff up from the past that you don't want to have to deal with. Now remember that on the 26th of October though, Mercury goes direct again, so those influences are not there after that particular time. Now on the 24th of October, Pisces, the Sun moves into the 9th house of your horoscope and stays there for 30 days. That's a good time for travel. Overseas travel will be attractive to you. Adult education will be attractive to you. And there's a lot of extra dealings socially, potentially with foreign people and also with relatives on your spouse's side. And Venus is also in the 9th house of your horoscope on that same day, and that also exacerbates the amount of social activities with foreign people. It improves the conditions for travelling overseas, and it activates more social activities with people that you've gone through an education with in any way, shape or form, and also involvements with in-laws on a social level. The last one is the 27th of October. Mars moves into the 11th house of your horoscope on the 27th of October. And when Mars is in the 11th house of your horoscope, your friends will be rather assertive and dominant in their nature, so just try not to pick a fight. There can be conflicts and tensions with friends, accidents involving friends, and stresses and tensions revolving around other people's children, should they play a prominent part in your life. And potential for injuries to the lower part of the legs, like the ankles and the calves and things like that, when Mars is in the 11th house of your horoscope. Now I'm going to look at the slower moving bodies for you. First of all, Jupiter, Pisces. Now Jupiter is taking 12 months to move through the 6th house of your horoscope during this particular period. So it's in there, in that 2-month period, it's in the 6th house of your horoscope, but it's there for 12 months. Now when Jupiter is in the 6th house of your horoscope, it's a very good time for a change in job. Now you've had it there for a month, and it's going to be there for another 11 months in the 6th house of your horoscope, Pisces. So it's a very opportune time for you if you wanted to make a change in your job. It will be a favourable change. It's very good for purchase of domestic pets, and it sees a great deal more love expressed in the job and a lot more social involvements with people that you work with. Now, another thing that's very, very important for you, Pisces, is that Jupiter is in this 2-month period is going through 10 degrees of your horoscope. It's going through 10 degrees Leo to 20 degrees Leo. Now if you have any planets in that particular location, 10 degrees Leo to 20 degrees Leo, it means that Jupiter is forming a conjunction with that planet in this 2-month period. And you want to know about that, Pisces, because that's a very beneficial opportunity for you to take advantage of. And this is the reason why it's wise to have your horoscope done, because it gives you a roadmap in life. It gives you an opportunity to take advantage of opportunities as they present themselves, and it also allows you to be forewarned about crises that can occur in your life and therefore avert a crisis by being forewarned. So that's the purpose of having a horoscope done. It gives you a roadmap in life. And what I do for you, Pisces, is I go over and above the call of duty here. Included in your horoscope number 1, I tell you if you've got any planets in that 10-degree segment of your horoscope. And not only do I do that, Pisces, I tell you when the impact is going to happen, how long it lasts for, and which events and conditions in your life represent an opportunity for you. So you want to know about that. And I inform you of that in your free horoscope number 1. So that's all the more reason for you to submit your birth details so that I can tell you if you've got any conjunctions with Jupiter in that massive 10-degree segment of your horoscope. Now also, Saturn is a slow-moving body, Pisces, and it moves 5 degrees in this particular section. I'll get to that in a moment, but first of all I want to tell you about the longer-term impact of Saturn. Saturn is in the 9th house of your horoscope, and it has been there already for the last 12 months, so you've already felt the impact of what I'm going to describe to you here. There has perhaps been sickness or death of a relative on your husband's side or your wife's side, your partner's side. There can have been perhaps a death of a relative who lives distantly from you, or an illness involving a relative who lives distantly from you in the last 12 months. And there's been plans for travel, but those plans haven't been able to be consummated. So there's been delays with regard to plans for travel, delays with any plans that you've had in the last 12 months for adult education and things like that. So you've been wanting to expand your understanding about a variety of things, but all sorts of things have interfered with and obstructed those plans in the last 12 months. So that's what you've been experiencing, and that goes on for another 18 months. But Saturn in this period that you're living through at the moment, September and October, it goes through 5 degrees in the sign Scorpio, from 18 degrees Scorpio, Pisces, to 23 degrees Scorpio. Now, if you've got any planets in those degrees in your horoscope, it means that Saturn forms a conjunction with those planets, and you need to know about that. Because Pisces, that's a very bad time for you. And you can make decisions and choices at that time that can have impact for years, detrimental impact for years, if you're not forewarned about that. So you can avert a crisis by being forewarned that you've got a conjunction with Saturn into one of your planets, and I do that for you again in your horoscope free of charge. And I tell you if you've got any planets in that 5-degree segment and what impact that has, the timing and how long that impact will last, and I do all of that for you free of charge. So that's another reason for you to submit your birth details to my your horoscope page of my website, www.mysteryofsirius.com. And I always put the website address also in the description of the horoscope, so you can always go there to the description of this particular YouTube video, and there is the website address in that description for you as a convenience. Now, what I want to do for you now, Pisces, is I want to help you to develop spiritual perception. What does that mean, you ask yourself? By spiritual perception, I mean to be able to perceive life from a spiritual point of view. In other words, to be able to see life and all the events and conditions of your life from a spiritual perspective. And I posit to you that how can you possibly see life from any other perspective than a spiritual perspective? We all live, Pisces, in a giant spiritual classroom, and we are faced with tests and so forth on a day-by-day basis, and the way that we react to those testing circumstances in our life determines what sort of conditions and events that we're going to meet in the future. So the problem is, for everybody, is that science, which is so well respected in the community, they say that astrology is a load of hogwash, and that the planets can have no impact whatsoever upon you as a personality or your makeup, and that the planets can have no impact at all upon the events and conditions of your life. Now, I'm not attacking science, because they are brilliant. And they are not meant to believe in God. They are not meant to get into the subjective side of life. They're meant to focus upon the practical, the down-to-earth, the observable, and the physical. And to be able to develop all of their beautiful scientific discoveries and instruments and so forth, and all of the technology that we all take advantage of, is all designed by the brilliance of science. But I say this, look, science says that everything happens by random chance, and that everything happened, and you're here as an intelligent human being because you have evolved. The human family has evolved from an amoeba in the ocean into the mineral kingdom and the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom, and into the human kingdom as a human animal, and then as a human being, and so forth, and that we've improved as we've gone along through the process of evolution. And that's why we're now so intelligent and so perceptive, and so on and so forth, Pisces. Now, I say to you that for them to say that all of this happened and your intricate body and complex body all just happened as a result of an explosion in space that saw a fortuitous set of blobs of matter called planets in their right location from the sun and so forth, and through a random situation of evolutionary development, you came about through that explosion in space. I say to you that that's the same as saying, Pisces, that a Boeing 747, with all of its intricacy, all of its complexity, and all of its technological marvel and intricacy, all fell into place as a result of an explosion in an engineering factory. And that, Pisces, is just too much of a stretch of the imagination. And I posit this question to science: if we've all evolved and we're all improving as we've evolved in the human family through the process of evolution, what's the purpose, Pisces, of us having fingerprints that are individual to us and us alone? Wouldn't it suffice for us to have fingers that just had plain skin there without any need for a fingerprint? And what about the iris? You can be identified now by your iris because that's individual to you as well. Now, that's too much of a stretch of the imagination to say that that we're all individual. We are all individual creations, created by God and Goddess. And they've put a piece of themselves inside of you, Pisces, that gives you all of the properties, all of the qualities, and all of the powers of themselves inside of yourself now. That piece of you is your higher self. And your higher self has brought you through hundreds of lifetimes, Pisces, just in the last 90,000 years. And what I'm prepared to do for you, Pisces, is I'm prepared to do your horoscope chart for you when you submit your birth details through the Your Horoscope page of my website. I send you your horoscope chart together with all of these things that I've told you about here today, about whether you've got these conjunctions happening and what sort of things you can take advantage of, and what sort of things you've got to be careful of and so forth to avert a crisis. I send you your chart by email, and together with all of that information, plus I send you the link to 130 of my videos that I've done in the last 15 months on all aspects of spiritual and personal growth, on the science of meditation and reincarnation, how it all functions and how it all works, and so on and so forth. Meditation, how to do it, how it all functions, the process of events after death, and how reincarnation works, and all that sort of stuff is there for you. The link is sent to you with your horoscope number 1. But more than that, Pisces, I send you 12 CDs using my voice with beautiful backing music out of my first book, What Really Matters, a book about astrology, meditation and reincarnation. And I tell you on those 12 CDs, I take you in and out of meditation time and time again, and that helps you to expand your understanding about the nature of reality and how you can create all of the events of your life more consciously rather than subconsciously as you're doing now. Because make no mistake about it, you are creating all of the events of your life, Pisces. You are creating all of the events of your life through your raw materials. Your raw materials are your attitudes and beliefs, thoughts and feelings, and those attitudes and beliefs and thoughts and feelings sponsor decisions and choices, depending on the quality of the attitudes and beliefs and thoughts and feelings. And those raw materials are moulded and shaped into the events and conditions of your life, Pisces, through 3 tools. Nobody has any different tools than you. Everybody's got the same tools. And those tools, Pisces, are our desire, our imagination, and our expectancy. What do we desire is going to happen. What do we expect is going to happen. And what do we imagine is going to happen. Because that is what happens. No one is doing it to you, Pisces. God and Goddess are not there punishing you, saying that you've been a naughty person in this past life and therefore you've got to suffer this and that and, as punishment. No. Every single thing that is there in your life in the way of pain is created by yourself. And you've created all of the events and conditions in your life through your raw materials. Nobody is doing it to you. Now, what I'm prepared to do for you as well, Pisces, is I'm prepared to do what's called a horoscope number 2 for only $10. It's a beautiful 20-page printout that I send to you by email, and that tells you about deeper aspects of yourself. You see, you are not just the sun sign of Pisces or a rising sign of Pisces. You are also an emotional being made up of the location of the moon in your horoscope by sign and by aspects and by house placement. Mercury rules your mind, Venus rules your love nature, Mars rules your energy levels, Jupiter rules your higher mind, Saturn your practicality and organisational ability, Uranus rules your intuition, Neptune rules your spirituality, and Pluto rules your capacity to transform yourself. Now, for only $10, I tell you where the moon is at the time of your first breath, and where Mercury is, and where Venus is, and where Jupiter is, and where Saturn is, and so forth. And what relationships that they all form with each other, because that is the thing that determines how well you've done in past lives, Pisces. Don't you want to know that? Don't you want to know how well you've done in past lives to get where you are today? And don't you want to know what tests that you've set for yourself in this particular lifetime? And what qualities, principles and values that you've set yourself to be able to take into yourself and develop within yourself as attributes and principles and values inside of yourself in this particular lifetime. All of that is explained in this beautiful 20-page printout for only $10. That's horoscope number 2. Make no mistake about it, Pisces, you are a very complex being. All of us are very complex. And you are on the crest of the wave of evolution. You have a lot of power, strength and talent inside of yourself that's trying to get out. You have a lot of goodness, truth and beauty there inside of yourself. God and Goddess love you and they know your name. And they want you, Pisces, to become all that you can be and more. And so I thank you for your attentiveness here. It's nice to have this opportunity to be able to talk with you. And should you decide to submit your birth details through your horoscope page on my website, I look forward to being of service to you and helping you to become more of who you really are. Not the Pisces that you put down and punish yourself and feel as if you're not good enough, and you've got a lot of addictive patterns of behaviour that you're trying to get rid of. You're strongly attracted to drugs and alcohol and self-undoing and so on and so forth. Look, I know all about Pisces because I'm Pisces. Okay, I've got a Pisces ascendant. So I know how difficult it is for the Pisces to cope with life. So anyway, I thank you here, and I look forward to working further with you should you decide to go further, Pisces. Thank you.